Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. After being persuaded to remain in Genoa City, Damien started to patch things up with his mother. An added incentive to stay in town was, of course, his curiosity in Lily. Amy was also persuaded by Nate to see his friend for a second view on her prognosis. When Nate opens his flat to Damien the following week, he asks, "Hey, what's going on?" According to Damien, you tell me. Is it accurate? Has my mother been admitted to a Chicago hospital? Has Amy gotten worse, or may that second opinion show something different? Clueless signals were sent to Nick and Billy, directing them and Chance to the building where Sharon and Phyllis were being held captive. And when gas started to fill their room, they arrived just in time to save the women. Following their encounter, Sharon would undoubtedly have some questions for Nick the following week. She wants him to tell her how he really feels. Do you ever consider reuniting with me? What will he say in response? So, the kidnapper wanted you to be found? Summer asks Phyllis, to which Phyllis replies, yeah. Whoever did it is an absolute jerk. This individual hasn't been apprehended yet, worries Summer. They are unaware that danger is closer than they think, which implies that you are still in risk. When Alan's cell phone continued to ring, Traci, who had just been engaged to him, finally tried to turn it off only to discover that a security breach had occurred and that procedures had been put in place. She doesn't know Alan is the kidnapper, but she may soon find out. Alan says to Traci in the last seconds of the promo, I say we do the town big. When he notices that the lady he loves is holding his phone, he blurts out, I want to show her. What are you doing? He inquires. Will Alan be able to convince himself otherwise? Is Alan really Alan, anyway? Or is he Martin, his twin? As Summer strolled around society, she noticed a sulky Chance behind the bar. Chancellor Winters couldn't be that discouraging when he'd barely started, she said, flipping her hair as she walked up to him. Summer questioned Chance about his poison after he acknowledged that it wasn't a good idea to show up at the pub first thing in the morning. He mentioned a variety of tropical drinks that the bartender had suggested, and he regretted sticking with coffee. Summer suspected that he was reconsidering hanging up his cape because she felt that something else was off. It had been an odd morning, Chance said, and Summer assumed he was still getting adjusted to civilian life. There has been a lot of change that will take time to process, he said. She offered to assist, stating that it would be beneficial to truly experience the role of a rising Chancellor Winters executive. Shortly afterward, Summer came back with a special Marchetti delivery. She gave Chance a shopping bag, revealing that it was filled with brand new ties and shirts. When he inquired about how she had determined his size, she boasted that she was an expert at estimating people's sizes. After seeing Marchetti's costs, Chance was reluctant to accept, but Summer reassured him that, as CEO, she had received a significant discount. After consulting with Sharon, she offered him to return anything, and he backed off. Chance did not seem like himself, and Summer pressed to find out what was happening. Chance was reminded by Summer that he could tell her anything because they were friends. He assured her that it was nothing to worry about, but she recalled that he had listened to her talk endlessly about her mother and the dissolution of her marriage, and she wanted to repay him. There wasn't much to say, Chance muttered, but Summer had a sneaking suspicion that once he spoke, he would discover that he had much to say. She proposed that they have lunch together. Adam and Nick planned their approach to presenting to Victor at Crimson Lights. Nick imagined their father's astonishment when they nailed it. The men were toasting the co-CEOs of Newman Enterprises when Sharon entered. She walked over to their table and exclaimed, without bloodshed and restraining orders, in amazement. Sharon questioned who would provide an explanation and refused to act as though the scene was typical. The brothers gestured to each other. Nick and Adam clarified that they had compelled themselves to find common ground since Victor had instructed them to either get along or find another place to work. They finished their toast without shattering any cups or bones, and Sharon congratulated them and said they were headed for a wonderful partnership. Adam joked that they could trick Victor if they could trick her. They appeared ready to do big things together, Sharon observed. Sharon wished Nick and Adam luck and they agreed to meet at the office later. Adam joked that since they had each other, they didn't require luck. The brothers agreed that the comment had been too much, and Nick winced. Nick reflected after Adam departed that he had never imagined the day he would be collaborating with Adam. When one is on the correct path, change is good, according to Sharon, and there were indications that Nick and Adam were headed in the right direction. She was searching for her own signs, Nick surmised. The day prior, Sharon told Nick that she and Chance had split up. Nick, who was taken aback, said he had assumed everything was going well. She acknowledged that it had been beautiful while it lasted, but she was aware that Chance would eventually seek a committed commitment. Sharon thought that her days were busy and exciting because she was going to start a new company. A part of Nick wished he could be a part of her accomplishment, but he was certain he was where he needed to be. He felt Sharon wasn't giving herself enough credit, but she gushed that without Nick's assistance, she wouldn't have made it this far. He was excited to see her at the launch party in all her splendor and admired her for managing her business her way. Nick expressed worry about Sharon's ability to manage work and life, and he made a joke about how fortunate she was to have no choice but to give up her romantic life. Sharon was certain that love would find her again and vowed to never give up on it. She went on to say that she wasn't in a rush and that she would know when the proper man was available. Nick asked Sharon if she was certain that man wasn't Chance. Although Sharon acknowledged that Chance was entertaining, humorous, and nice on the eyes, she didn't want to repeat her previous mistakes by persuading herself that a relationship was more than it needed to be. She refused to settle for anything less, and she felt that she and Nick were fortunate to have experienced what it was like to have had the real thing. She declared that she was already enjoying the time of her life and looked forward to managing her business in the interim. With the launch coming up, Nick begged her to tell him everything she was working on, and she gladly complied. Ashley was astounded to see Cole seated at a table when she stepped onto the coffeehouse terrace. She recalled an instance in which he had attempted to persuade her to accompany him to Oxford. Cole pointed out that just the night before, Ashley had been prepared to do anything to keep their marriage together, including having a child, even if she felt that their time together would be better spent apart. He reiterated that he was open to the concept in the future, but she remembered that she had turned it down. He had a feeling she was turning around for another purpose. Ashley chastised Cole for discussing his desire to start a family in a private talk with Victoria. Ashley explained that if it had been a one-off event, it wouldn't have been a huge concern, but he had a stronger link with his ex-wife than Ashley could handle. Ashley walked over to Cole, who hugged her and said she looked even more stunning than before. She wondered why he was back in town, thinking that it was a face she had never expected to see again. Ashley stated she was eager to hear about it, and Cole responded that it was complicated. Ashley thought everything turned out okay as Cole mentioned a sensitive family matter. He said he had heard she had recently gotten married, and she said it had not gone well. She acknowledged that she couldn't change the past, even though she wished things had gone differently. Ashley remarked that she wished he had had better luck and that it was never easy to end a relationship. Cole said he was certain Ashley had been too good for her ex, but he couldn't say he had. Victoria called Cole's name as she stepped onto the patio. Ashley highlighted the familial issue Cole had brought up, expressing astonishment that Victoria and Cole had stayed in contact. Victoria curtly thanked Ashley for respecting the privacy of the subject, assuming that Ashley had already been told it was confidential. Ashley bid Cole farewell with a hug before entering the coffee shop. Ashley wouldn't be the last to inquire about what was happening, Cole noted, and he didn't think he and Victoria could keep Claire a secret. Cole argued that revealing the truth to everyone was the first step in releasing them from Jordan's grip, despite Victoria's commitment to do everything it needed to protect their daughter's privacy. Victoria disclosed that Claire had requested that she and Cole stop going. According to Victoria, Claire had told herself that she didn't deserve their assistance because of everything she had said and done, and she felt a great deal of remorse and humiliation. Victoria emphasized that it didn't make sense to Claire that they cared for her when she loathed herself, even if Cole pointed out that Jordan had made Claire do those things. Victoria went on to say that Claire had discovered that it was unsafe to rely on anyone and that the harm could not be reversed in a single day. After being repeatedly told that she had been rejected, Victoria felt that Claire needed time and love. No matter how long it took to get through, Victoria promised to never stop telling Claire that they cared. In order to show their daughter what life may be like for Claire, Victoria wanted to know everything about her. Cole promised that he would stop at nothing to communicate with Claire. Despite being a new parent, Victoria commended Cole for being dependable and comforting. Since baby Eve had been his only child, he acknowledged that he had no idea what he was doing. "When I looked at Claire, I couldn't help but see what I'd missed," Cole whispered. If he had known Claire had survived, he saw giving her everything, and he wished he had had the opportunity to do it correctly the first time. After receiving a call from Memorial, Victoria found out that Claire was interested in seeing them. Cole eagerly anticipated another opportunity to assist Claire, so they left. Victoria and Cole showed up at the mental health center. Cole reassured Claire that everything could proceed at her own pace and that there was no pressure. Claire insisted that she couldn't have them in her life and underlined that she hadn't altered her opinion. Victoria acknowledged that Claire's decision to call them back had likely been unsettling, but she assured them that they would always support her. Cole declared that he had never desired that and never would, despite Claire's repeated insistence that it was better for everyone to forget she was ever there. Cole proposed that Victoria and he observe a session so that they could hear Claire's thoughts in a secure setting. Claire wanted only one thing and would rather concentrate on her future. Claire revealed that she had already discussed it with Michael and her therapist. She also declared that she needed to confront Jordan in order to express her feelings to her aunt directly. Claire was adamant that she had to do it or else there would be no chance for her to recover and move on. She asked if Victoria and Cole could make it happen. Adam saw a jolt in Sally's step as he ran into her in the athletic club lobby. He affirmed that he was extremely glad because his life seemed to be improving, and she noticed the same thing with him. Although she had to delay their supper that evening for a valid reason, she claimed that hers was as well. He offered that he share his good news with her as she shared hers with him over lunch. Even though breakfast was the safest meal, Sally said during lunch that lunch was a better choice than dinner. "It depends on the evening before," Adam retorted, recalling that they had attended a number of provocative brunches and breakfasts. She said that after-dinner cocktails led to risk, such as dancing, when he asked her to educate him about the hidden dangers of feasts. When Adam brought up her positive news, Sally revealed that she had acquired 3 new customers. "Is there a special reason why his life is going well?" she asked. He attributed the remaining 25% to something else and the remaining 75% to her. Adam gave Sally an update on how Victor had compelled him and Nick to cooperate. Adam warned that it was still early, but Sally was astonished that the brothers were putting up with each other. Though he was aware that things can still go wrong, he remained hopeful that his father would be pleased with his accomplishments. Sally became aware that smiling was becoming a habit once Adam observed it. The fact that he wanted his father to be proud of him pleased her. Since Tucker's disagreement with Ashley had shown that he couldn't move on from his ex, Audra across the room told him to be honest with both herself and himself. All he could think about, Audra pointed out, was Ashley blowing up their dispute in Paris into something he didn't recognize, and she pictured him hoping that all would be forgiven if he could make Ashley see that what she believed had happened hadn't. Tucker claimed that Audra was the one who was fixated with Ashley. Audra complained that all of their plans had failed the moment Tucker believed he had a chance to win Ashley back. Tucker vowed that his attention had always been on his plan with Audra, and he questioned why she was interrogating him after she had just assured him that they were a team with an unbreakable bond. Audra claimed that her entire career was hanging on it, but Tucker responded that she'd had one foot out the door when he'd returned to the table. She claimed that she had repeatedly demonstrated her allegiance and would do so going forward, provided it made sense. She pleaded with him to promise her jabot. Even after his image had recently suffered, Audra clarified that she needed jabot because, although Tucker had a name and money, she didn't carry his weight in the business world. She reminded him of the promises he had made to her and insisted on knowing whether she could still rely on him or if Ashley would betray them. Tucker acknowledged that he wasn't sure how he would respond if Ashley recognized her error. He went on to say that Ashley was his, and that everyone has someone they would go to extreme lengths for. Tucker questioned how he could guarantee anything when his life was in flux, but Audra demanded assurances. Audra remembered that they had just talked about how their career aspirations were entirely aligned, but it had only taken 1 minute with Ashley to blow it all apart. When Tucker inquired as to whether it was an ultimatum, Audra told him it was goodbye. She asked him to spend the afternoon sipping his bourbon and wishing for a lady who didn't want him but needed to save her career. Audra advised that he check his phone for texts because he had everyone hanging by a thread including himself. When Tucker got back to his hotel room, he saw a text message from Kyle inquiring as to whether Tucker had decided on anything. After taking Kyle's call, Tucker said goodbye right away. According to Tucker, Audra had just verified what he had long believed Kyle had been up to. Kyle vowed that Audra had made a mistake. Tucker hung up when he asked for an opportunity to clarify. When she entered the Abbott estate, Ashley heard Kyle tell Jack that Audra had revealed the entire scheme. Since Audra had revealed to Tucker what Kyle's true intentions were, Kyle declared that Tucker had withdrawn from the agreement for Kyle to send Chabot's product to Glissade. Kyle shouldn't be shocked, Ashley clucked. Jack reasoned that since they had taken a chance, they should learn from it and move on. Kyle said he had to get to the office, so he departed quickly. Ashley's sour attitude led Jack to surmise that she had just spent time with Tucker. Jack was concerned that she had gone back home before she was prepared to confront Tucker. Jack deduced that Ashley was acknowledging the existence of a problem when she sighed that ignoring Tucker wasn't the issue. Ashley yelled at Tucker, saying that he was just being Tucker by trying to convince her of a cruel lie in order to make himself appear less awful. She hoped Tucker would move far away and permanently leave her life. It was evident to both Jack and herself that she was still in significant depth.